All right, you goobers. Get them out. Collectively, we seem to think that what we did last week was pretty easy peasy, to the point that I let you off to go do your own thing a little bit earlier than usual. Starting at number 8. It was 8 all the way to the end. So let's check them and make sure that we're good. Also, a congrats to Miss CJ for being awesome at like stage stuff. Okay, again, these were all writing out the slope and the y-intercept. It's one of those things where if it helps you to graph them, I'd recommend writing them next to it. You don't have to later on. I know that the whole lot of you are more accurate when you put the slope next to it and write the little arrows on there, though. Always left to right, and then up or down is plus or minus. Questions on 8, 9, 10? Okay. Bloop. The word problem. Now, some of you were asking about this, where if my slope is 1 or 2, but my y-axis is going by 5s, how do I do that? Okay, we had another one like this, where, no, you don't educated guess, you do it for real. You use, remember, slope is a ratio. A ratio of 1 to 1, it holds for bigger numbers. So, like this one, I know I start at 20. But then I'm not sure what to do after that because it's a slope of 1 and the scale goes by 5s. So how about I say, all right, what if I just go up 5 instead? How far over do I go? Good old Jesus fish. Cross multiply and solve. 5 times 1 divided by 1 is 5. Means if I'm going to go up 1 and over 1, I can also go up 5 and over 5. Up 5 and over 5. Okay. Okay. Same thing goes for this guy. If the slope is 2 over 1, well, I can't go up 2 and over 1 when my scale's all funky like that. But I also can't really go up 5 because then I'm going to get fractions. Do you know of a number that 2 and 5 have in common? 10. Least common multiple. So I'll say, what if I go up 10 instead? Cross multiply solve and get 5. So I start at 11 and I'll go up 10 over 10. Or sorry, up 10 over 5. There we go. Up 10 over 5. Up 10 over 5. And then connect those dots. So sometimes you gotta adjust your slope to make this happen. Now, it says find the number of songs that would cost the same on both sides. It depends how clean and clear you are with your graph, whether you're using straight edge or not. Where does it look like they cross? Not quite 30. See how the lines are, like it's somewhere in this mess, right? Are you going to say that you're going to buy 9.1 songs? Can you buy 8.95 couches? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So it's probably 9. You said x is 9. You can plug it back into both those equations. And if you think it's 9, then both of them should be true. If I plug a 9 in here, 9 plus 20 is 29. If I plug a 9 in here, what's 2 by 9?
18.
Plus 11. 29. So sometimes you're going to have to do a little math off to the side. Oh, 929. To show what's really happening. You can't just BS it. Okay? If they do 9, was it songs? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. This was the really old problem. The ancient days when we had to buy music off of like Napster and stuff. Okay? And before that was the ancient days where you stole all that music for free. So, 929, 9 songs, both paying $29. After that was just more practice. So let's see if we got them. Notice how some of those graphs started getting funky scales to them? I know I worked with a couple of you on making sure that you're counting the boxes 2 at a time. Some of us got a little bit better when I said, put a tick mark in there, like this. So that we're remembering to count each box is worth 2. Some of us, I think there was 2 or 3 kids who had to go all the way through and they'd get a straight edge, and they made their whole graph, literally, they broke all the boxes up in half like this, so that it was literally counting boxes again. If every box is worth 2, I'm just going to split every box in half. Sometimes you got to do that. You do what works for you. 12, 13, we okay? Go away. 14, 15. Again, 14's got that funky scale to it. I think we're all okay with just graphing it by ourselves. It's when we get that weird scale in there that things start messing with us. 14 and 15. Ask me something. I see some scrunched eyebrows.
14.
Okay. Oh, wait. Zoom. So, we're probably okay with start at 7, slope is 2. But if I'm going to do that, when I'm starting at 7, I got to know I'm in the middle of the box. Right? If I go up 2 and right 1, I have to count 1, 2, right 1. Because the vertical axis is not worth the same as the horizontal. And that can make us go a little cross-eyed. But once you get that pattern, 1, 2, over 1. Down 1, 2, over 1. 1, 2, over 1. 1, 2, over 1. Okay? And that's where when you get the chance to make your own graph, kind of works out nicer. Because you can just make your boxes go by 1 every time. Sometimes you don't have that choice and you have to match it to something with a different scale. And that can make us, that can be confusing, which is why we practice it. So, 16, 17. Those went by 1s, we're okay, right? I had someone ask me about 17. Like, I bet a lot of kids tried to say, treat it like this. I know a lot of kids who tried to start at 0 and then do a slope of 2. But that ain't it. Remember, if I have y equals mx plus b, what part of it is missing? If I just say y is 2. Okay, this part is missing. What do I write for missing? For nothing? For ain't here? 0. So treat it like y is 0x plus 2. In which case, how do I turn this into a fraction? So I would start at 2. I would go up 0, write 1. Up 0, write 1. Up 0, write 1. Another way, we ran across these when we did them by tables. In this equation, y equals 2. Do you see an x in there at all? So when I graph by table, I ask you, when x is negative 3, what's y? Well, 2. All right. When x is negative 2, what's y? 2. It doesn't matter what x is. Like these type of equations, these are the Groot of math. When x is negative 1, I am Groot. When x is 0, I am Groot. When x is 1, I am Groot. Over and over and over. It doesn't matter what x is. Y is always 2. And that's why you get that horizontal line across like that. Because the slope is 0. It doesn't go up or down at all. That's like, I was going to say, that's at least 2 classes. Okay. Oh, y equals x. So there's nothing behind it, so I put 0 for nothing. But there is a x here, so I need a 1 in front of it. Okay, all these little bits and pieces of algebra knowledge along the way, they're still in play. Then there were words. Oh no, words. '18, they didn't give you equations because it didn't matter, right? They just won the answer. The answer is they cross right here. So I just need to know what my x and y axes are to tell you my answer. Tori and Joseph, they have sales positions. They earn this much per week in commission. Y'all know what commission is, right? Or maybe you've heard it before, but you're not really sure what it is. You ever walk into Best Buy? You're in this aisle, and someone comes up to you like, hey, can I help you find anything? Like, no, I'm good. Not 3 minutes later in the next aisle over, hey, can I help you find something? You know why they're that pushy? They work on commission. Commission is the more that they sell you, the more money they get. That's why there's always the stereotype of the used car salesman, right? They want to sell you that vehicle because when they sell you a $10,000 car, they might be getting like a $1,200 kickback. Okay? Well, maybe not that much, but they get a commission. They get a percentage of the sales. You ever see, I don't know, Karen's like super heavy duty Yukon rolling through town and it's got like Mary Kay plastered all over the back window? Okay, or maybe your aunt does the whole online Tupperware sales party or whatever, or What's the bag one? My wife is obsessed with the bags. 31. See? She knows. Okay. People love selling stuff like that because you work on a commission. The more you sell, the more money you make because you are getting a percentage of every sale. Okay. So they're kind of like tips, except tips is voluntary. Commission you get no matter what. It's negotiated. They're going to make $200 this week. But if they sell a crap ton of stuff, they're also going to get 15% of that crap ton of stuff. Okay. Joseph earns 150 a week, 20% commission. So more per week, but less commission, less per week, more commission. They're wondering when are they going to make the same? And they tell you right there, the amount they earn is Y. So this is $350 in their pocket when they do X amount of sales. So they sold $1,000 worth of stuff. So they sold $1,000 worth of stuff. That means instead of only making $150 or $200 this week, they made $350. Okay. Any of you work service industry where you get tips, especially food service? Okay. Just like in a commission position, you want to sell more stuff. You want to be more personable. You want to convince them, oh, no, you need this. Well, if you work in like a restaurant business or something like that where you get tips, everyone knows the nicer you are, you turn on the charm, okay? Tegan's over there like, oh yeah, old ladies love me. Like, put on the tie and everything. It's like, jingle, jingle, here's my tip jar. Okay. Um, that one just asked you if you know what they mean. It's already graphed for you. Do you know what they mean? 19, they just gave you the two equations graphing. It's going by twos though. So be careful with that slope again. If you need to cut every one of those boxes in half with little tick marks. Because when they say down 3, right 1, you need to know it's down a box and a half over a half a box. And that can be tough. Down below that, again, they already cross. They're just making sure that you understand. One of them is toppings, one of them is total price. Right? Like the who's got the any topping thing? Domino's. Right? Where it's like so many dollars for any number of toppings carry out. Okay, that isn't always the case. Sometimes you got to pay for each one. I had a kid at one of our geekathons. We're ordering the gluten-free pizzas, so they get their own. I said, you go ahead and put whatever you want on there. They ordered half the store because we got a coupon that's like any toppings. You couldn't even see the pizza when it came. It just looked like they took all of those dishes and just dropped it on the pizza. You get you, kid. The next time we did it, they didn't have that coupon anymore. So they just started poking everything and said, here's what I want. And I looked at it, that one pizza was going to cost like $32. It was like this big. Okay, sometimes they're going to charge you more. Our vocab is always at the beginning, and then write a second equation so they have no solution. See how it says sample answers. What did no solution look like? Graph this, no solution, okay? The train tracks, right? Parallel lines. And parallel lines have the same slope. So you could have written y equals 12x plus anything. You could have said 12x plus a million. You could have said 12x minus 11,000 pi. Now you could have done whatever. As long as it's got a 12x in there, you're good. Okay? So, we got to go through the stuff to make sure that we know what we're doing, especially those, hey. Oh, no. Frank, I hate you. A burning passion, Frank. A plague upon your house. I suppose that just kind of happens in South Dakota. Student. So, go in the back somewhere, you're going to graph. Again, I strongly recommend graph paper if you aren't extremely neat. Oh. Okay, I just need a graph somewhere. There we go. I would like you to do 3.2 Yeah. Graph and tell me the solution. Again, in the back of your packet, if you are neat enough that you feel confident making your own graph, fine. Otherwise, there's graph paper over here by the calculators. No, dude, this weekend was dumb. Remember, if these end up in a goofy spot, there were a handful of them that we had to estimate. I did mental math before lunch. That was a bad idea. Maybe they end up in a weird spot. Anyone still rolling? Should be relatively quick. Finishing up. Okay. Yes, ma'am?
So this one, would I just go from here up to
What number is out here?
1?
There's nothing there. Remember, I put an invisible 1 next to an X because there's an X there. There's something.
So it'd be 0 and go up 1 over here.
Oh, also, I got to ask, I don't think there is, but is anyone in here doing the ACT this weekend? Okay. Math department puts on the ACT review all week. Me and Mr. Spear both kind of forgot until I opened up my brain book here and saw it written down. But if you, whether it's you or not, whether you know a friend or older sibling, someone who is going to take that ACT this weekend, we strongly recommend that they come to one of our ACT prep sessions. We'll usually do them after school or during Spartan time or something like that, and we put it up in the announcements. Okay. So just if you know anyone and your friends who's taking it this weekend, really good idea to hop in for one of those. It's less about reviewing the math and more about how do you game the system. Like that's what true ACT prep is. No, I just remembered this morning and talked to Mr. Spear. Likely what's going to happen would be Friday and Wednesday during Spartan time. Probably in his or McCreary's or Works room. And then likely Tuesday or Thursday after school. Normally I'm all in on that, but I've got freshmen for Spartan time and then game club Tuesday, Thursday after school. It depends. If I can get someone to watch my Spartan time for me, I would. Freshmen. Like sophomores in the room. Y'all understand finally now, halfway through your sophomore year, why we bagged on you so much last year?
Yeah. Whenever sophomores would be like, "Oh, freshman," I was like, "You guys are only 1 year older than us." And I'm like, "Damn, we acted like that last year."
Uh-huh. That's the circle of life. Freshmen are just like that. You were all like that. Everyone says, "Oh, but the next class coming up." No, you were all that way. So, all right. That's a thing. 3 halves x minus 4. Where am I starting? Oh, okay. You didn't say anything, so I just put at the first negative 4 I saw. So, now what?
Up 3, right 2.
Okay. Those arrows helping us? 3 over 2. If you need to put those arrows on there, y'all, it's going to keep you more accurate. Up 3, right 2. Up 3, right 2. Okay? Don't do anything that big. That's gigantic. Okay, connect the dots. And the more dots you have, the better, because odds are one of them is going to be your answer. Okay. Careful. Where do I start the second one? 0. Not 1. There's nothing out there. Not even an x, not a variable, nothing. So I start at 0. And I say up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Ha! Or down 1, left 2 to back that up. So that was terrible. But you get the idea. They cross at that point. Make sure you actually say what it is, 4, 2. So you should have. Did you start in the right spot? Was your slope correct for green line? Did you start in the right spot? Was your slope correct for blue line? Did you actually tell me what the answer was? And it was correct, hopefully. Okay. Now, what if you goofed? What if you did up 3, left 2? Up 1, 2, 3, left 2. You would have had this as an answer. In that case, if you had goofed that part, but you said the coordinate -2, -1, the only thing that you goofed was the slope. You still wrote the coordinate where they crossed. I would still call that 4 out of 5 if that was the only thing. Okay? 3, 3. The reason I'm going one section after another like this is because they all dovetail into each other. If you can graph one line, 3, 2 says you can graph 2 lines. If you can graph 2 lines, section 3 says, then you can color 2 lines. Y'all remember shading these? Okay. So, Y'all remember which of these get open circles and closed circles? Right? The line means more ink. More ink here, more ink there. Well, if I were to chain together a closed circle with 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 a closed circle, but I kept doing it, because remember, these are infinite, right? What if I just kept filling it in? Closed circle, closed circle, closed circle, closed circle, closed circle, closed circle. What eventually does it become? A solid line. So, next to that, I'd like you to put that these two get solid. Like, I know it says it here, but we seem to get better with just pictures. Okay, what if these are going to be open circles then? So if I did a chain of open circles, open circle, open circle, open circle, open circle, open circle, open circle, it means we can't actually touch this spot, right? But drawing a whole bunch of open circles is annoying. So to show that there are gaps in there, like an open circle, we're going to do a dotted line. The book likes to call it dashed line. I don't know. What do you like, dashed line or dotted line? Okay. Just to be the troll in the room. Got Sean over here going. Okay. Then, it's not just whether it's a solid or dotted line. It's also about shading. Remember how inequality, I'd like solid and go this way, or I dotted and go this way? I would shade it. Well, now, because this is two number lines stacked on top of each other, I have to shade an entire region. And now we find out who's that kid. Y'all know who you are. Where they would graph the line. And then, Frank, you're ruining my punchline. It was doing this on Friday pretty bad. That kid. Y'all shade it. Don't just do this. Okay? You know who you are. Come on, Frank. You can do it. Frank. Frank. Let's go. Okay. So, we're going to stop whatever y'all doing with your hands. Okay. When I graph this thing, to determine which way I shade, it depends on Pac-Man here. I'm either going to shade one side or the other, right? And remember that whole true or false statement in business? We're going to put that to work for us. We're going to pick a point and plug it in for X. What is the easiest point in the world to work with? Zeros, right? So I'm going to pick this point, 0, 0. And I'm going to ask, does it make this true or not? So if I put a 0 in here, I get 0. What's -1/2 times 0? Gone. So I just have the -4 there. And I ask myself, is this true? Is 0 greater than or equal to -4? Since this works, since this is part of my answer, that means everything on that side is my answer. So I shade that side. Easy peasy. anything over here would have worked. If I would have plugged in -4, 2, it would have worked. If I would have plugged in 0, -2, it would have worked, right? -2 in for y, 0 in for x. Is owing someone $2 better than owing someone $4?
Yep.
Yeah. So you pick a point, plug it in, and if it works, everything on that side works. What if it doesn't? What if I pick the point 0, 0, but now what if it looks like this? I plug in 0 and I say 0 is less than or equal to -4. Is being flat broke worse than owing people money? Nah, dude, I'd rather be broke because then I don't have to pay anyone back. This is a false statement. So if this was not true, nothing on that side is true. I would shade everything over that way. Okay? That's how I'm going to figure out which way to shade. So graph the boundary line. Look at the inequality. Will I use a solid or dotted line for this guy? More ink here still means more ink there. I'm going to say solid because the symbol is or equal to. All right, where do I start? We're assuming that we know this. -1.
Why -1?
Oh, it's a y-intercept of -1. All right. I wasn't sure. I just heard -1. I didn't hear anything else with it. From there, my slope. What's my slope? Draw your little arrows. Left to right like a book. This tells me go up. So from that point, I go up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. Or you can always reverse the flow and go down 3, left 1. Down 3, left 1. And we said solid line, so make a solid line, use a straight edge. I already see some of you winging it. Stop it. Okay, I'm going to wing it next time I grade your test. Dude. Oh, I'm sorry. 2023. Bruh. All right. It says substitute a point in. Pick any point you want to plug in there for x and y. And we said the easiest one we could use is 0, 0. You got to be careful. If the line goes through 0, 0, you can't use it. It's got to be a point on either side. Like if it's right on the line, you can't use it. So it doesn't quite go through 0, 0, right? So I'll try it. I'm going to use 0, 0 because that's the easiest point I can think of. If I plug a 0 in here, I get 0. If I plug a 0 in here, what is 3 times 0? -1. Is that a true statement or a false statement? 0 is less than -1 or equal to. False. Being flat broke is not worse than owing someone money. So this is false. Shade the region that isn't. Oh, sorry. Doesn't include. There we go. Doesn't include. I swear that's a D. So I'm going to shade that way. Everything on the other side, and I'm going to shade it for real. Okay. And you go around the room and you see everyone's shading. Some of them just got a scribble. Some of them darken the living crap out of it. It looks like they murdered a pen. Okay. All depends on what your jam is. So that's it. If you can draw the line, if you can graph a line like normal, this is just about which way do I shade. This guy, a little bit different. Because now, what kind of line am I going to use on 2? Okay, call it dotted, dashed, broken? Nah, probably won't. I'm just going to say dotted. Okay, I'm going to use dotted line. I'm going to use the dotted line because it is just greater than, not greater than or equal to. Where are we starting?
-3 and the y.
Okay. Like, I know your tricks, old man. And then, slope. 1/5, up 1, what 5? If I always say left to right, if I put my arrows on here, I'm going to stop screwing that up. So from here, I'm going to go up 1, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ugh, I only got 2 points on my graph. If only I could have more. Down and left. And we said it was a dotted line. Get your straight edge and dotted line. Substitute in a point, check if it's included or not. So plug in a point. If I can use 0, 0, I want to use it. It's the easiest one to work with. So I'm asking, does this work? I plug in 0 and 0. What's anything times 0? 0 minus 3? Bro?
-3.
Okay. All right. So, no, I get it, dude. Mental math, me, Monday after my weekend. 0 greater than -3 is being flat broke better than owing someone $3. I'd rather be flat broke. So since this is true, that means everything on that side is true. I'm going to shade the region that includes the point 0, 0. And y'all know the kid who's just like, good enough. Don't be that kid. Don't be that kid. Okay, try to clean up a little bit. Okay, so it is dotted or solid. Which way do I shade? Beyond that, it's just like our other ones. So, you got 4 to give it a whirl. They walk you through just like the last 2. Give them a try. Check with your battle buddy, your neighbor. Got everyone else? Yeah, we got everyone else. Okay. Graph the line, solid or dotted. Which way you shading? Gonna be hard to do it if you're not on that page. Freshman. Yo.
So,
Well, first of all, we're back here.
oh, we're doing these ones? All right. I'm not gonna get
What? It's right there.
I just flipped the page over.
Kids these days. Yeah.
Would this be false?
0 is less than, well, write the rest of it. Right?
So,
Is 0 less than 5?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's true.
So,
See, they took that line away from you, where now you might have to write it off to the side to make it make sense.
Why would that
Okay.
be true, bro?
Because 0 is less than 0 plus 5 is 5. Is 0 less than 5?
You.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'll shade the one that includes that. Yo!
this is shade 0, 0, so I would shade down here because the 0 points right
Yeah.
there. Alright.
So, what's anything times 0? Plus 5.
5.
So you just said 0 is less than 5. Is that true?
Yeah.
So if it's true, I'll shade the part that includes it. Because if it's true, it's part of my answer. If this is part of my answer, everything on that side is my answer.
Alright.
Okay? Mhm.
But that's not a part of my answer, so I either mess up or I just look. I try to do it right, but that don't look
No.
right.
So 0, 0 is part of my answer.
Okay.
So that means everything on that side is part of my answer.
Oh, good God. Okay. Oh, then you're starting to make sense.
That's why we practice.
So,
Yep.
okay, so how do I know if it's a dotted line or a solid line?
More ink here. More ink here.
Okay.
Less ink here.
Dotted line.
Less
Okay,
ink there.
I did it.
Yep.
This would be false, right? Because 0 is not greater than.
So plugged it in. 0 greater than or equal to 7 is false. So if this is not part of my answer, then you shade away from it.
So shade.
Okay, it's like, you know, hey, I need a date for prom this spring, and I look over there and I'm like, that ain't gonna work. So you go the other direction, right?
Okay.
Looks like most of us got the first two. We're on to the second two. Okay, you got to be careful with one. Did we all catch that the scale? Oh, I even goofed it. The X and the Y are both going by twos. So you start at 5. If I go down 1, 2, 3 and over 1, I'm like right there in the middle of that box. If I go down 1, 2, 3 and over 1, I'm right here at 2, 0. Down 3, right 1, middle of box. Down 3, right 1 on the intersection. Down 3, right 1, middle of the box. Did we catch that? Okay, when I have negative 3 over 1. Now, if you don't like that middle of the box thing, that word problem trick that we were using, you can do that too. We talked about if negative 3 over 1 is what I have, but everything's going by twos, I can put a 2 here and just ask it, what should I move? Cross multiply solve, I get negative 6. So from here, I'm going to go down 6 over 2. Down 6 over 2. I can do that. I'll get the same line. You plug in 0, 0. 0 is less than 5, last I checked. Since it's true, I'm going to shade the region that includes. Frank, you are so slow today. So I shade everything that includes 0, 0. Kind of like the color of tomato soup there. Okay. Again, everything's going by twos. If you don't like, oh, if you don't like up 1 and over 3, take it times 2 times 2 and go up 2 over 6 instead. So I'll start at 7, and then I'll go up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down 1, 2 over 2, 4, 6. So you can do it that way if you don't like the 1/3 with going by twos. Solid line. Plug in 0. Last I checked, 0 is not greater than 7. So, since it's false, I'm going to shade the region that doesn't include 0, 0. I'm going to shade everything up here. Okay. I think the toughest part of this isn't even the graphing, it's the graphing on the scale, right? Who sees it and is already freaking out? Come on. There you go. I know someone in here is twitching because of that dot. Bottom right. Use solid. Inequality symbol is or equal to. Start at -1. Slope is -1/2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Or up 1, left 2. Again, put those arrows. Show yourself what to do. I already see a couple of us erasing that. Are you putting the slope with the arrows next to it? Not joking. It keeps us from goofing that up fairly consistently. I use solid line. And now they don't even have the check here. So they're just asking, do you know if 0, 0 works? Can we mental math it? Or quick sketch? 0. Well, that's a 0 now, so -1. Is 0 less than or equal to -1? Flat broke is not worse than owing someone money. So since this does not work, does not work, then nothing on that side works. You shade the other side. Close enough? Okay. Use dotted line. Starting at 4, slope is 1, which I can also reverse to say, oh, there we go. So I'm going to go down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. Dotted line. And now I show you a trick. We kept plugging in 0, 0, right? Everything on this page was y something rest of equation, right? We always had y by itself. Does y go left and right or up and down? There's a cheat code for this. And this says y is greater than the line. Where are y's bigger, up or down? So shade up. I want you to look at the other 3 on the page. Look at number 3. Doesn't that say y is less than or equal to the line? Look at which way we shaded. Y's are less down. Look at number 1 and 2. When it says greater, I shade up. When it says less, I shade down. Number 1 was a little bit iffy because the slope on it was so steep. You go to the y-axis, where it hits the y-axis, and you shade up or down from that spot. Okay, it's a nice little cheater, even faster than plugging in 0, 0. Well, here's a bunch of graph stuff regularly. You know what comes after that. Words. Nope, they want more practice. Y'all feeling okay with this yet? Okay, I'll go through another one to be safe. Uh-oh. Look at that box. Look at the graph. I'm going by 2's again. So first, solid or dotted, how do I know? Less ink here, means I'll use a dotted line because there was less ink here. When I graph it, I know that I'm going to start at y-intercept of 6, make dot. If -2 over 1 doesn't really fit my graph, I can't go down 2, right 1, unless I'm counting half of a box. If you don't like that, if you're okay with it, then do it. Right? Down 1, 2 over half a box. If you don't like that, you can always multiply both of these by 2 because my scale is going by 2's. And say down 4, right 2. So from here, down 2, 4, right 2. Down 2, 4, right 2. Down 2, 4, right 2. So you can modify the slope because that ratio always works. It's like if your vehicle is getting 19 miles a gallon, it doesn't matter whether you're driving just from here to Sturgis or you're driving from here to Sioux Falls, right? The mileage is the mileage. Now we know it's going to change a little bit based on where you're driving, how much you're stopping, speed, all that kind of stuff. But if that is my, say, highway mileage, the amount of highway I'm doing ain't going to change it. Okay? Same thing goes for a slope. It's a ratio. We said a dotted line, so I'm going to go get a dotted line. What was that? Keep up, Frank. I'm going to plug in 0, 0. It's the easiest point in the world. But notice that this says y is less than the line. So where should I be shading? Where are y's less?
Yes.
Down. And when I plug in 0, 0, I get 0 is less than 6, which is a true statement. So I'm going to include 0, 0. And when I include 0, 0, check that out, I'm shading down towards my 0, 0. So I shade everything over here. I see a lot of you who got graphs that look like that. As long as we can tell where the answer is, all right, you don't have to be an artist. So I actually want you to flip the page over to the word stuff, because I think we got the rest of it. I want to go in the word stuff because we always get afraid in the word stuff. Word stuff can be scary, I get it. Frank? Boy, this thing needs a... Oof. Okay, so you know what a party favor even is? It kind of depends on where you go. Like, you seen the little bag of candies and stuff, or maybe they got a little can koozie or something like that at a wedding reception, or everyone, think of it like a swag bag. Okay, the swag bag. You know, you go to the Comic-Con and you get the little bag full of all the cool stuff in it. Okay, that's what a party favor is. Everyone who comes to my party gets this cool thing. They're gonna buy them. $3 for paper ones, $4 for plastic ones, so maybe they're just little like fidgets and toys and stuff. Wants to spend less than $100, but thankfully I don't have to make that inequality. They did it for me. Where am I starting?
Y 25.
Thank you for saying y is 25. Now, that slope of down 3, right 4, I can't do that right now. My scale doesn't go by 3s and 4s. What does it go by? So I'm going to multiply my slope by 5s so it matches my graph. Take this by 5 and this by 5, getting down 15, right 20. Isn't that a little bit easier now? From that dot, can you go down 15? Okay. So we'll go down 5, 10, 15. Right, 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. Down 5, 10, 15. A little bit off-road. Right, 5, 10, 15, 20. Right, because I only had 2 boxes. That's only 10. So I had to go a little bit off-road. Will I use a solid line or dotted line? Okay. Because she wants to spend less than $100. You notice that's how they make a lot of prices? Like, for less than $100, and it's like $99.99. You know, go to buy a new video game and it's $59.99. Right? That way they can say, well, it's under $60. Which way will I shade? Before I even put a point in there. It says y is less than the line. So I go to where it hits the y-axis and I say I will shade down from there. Now, the other way is I can pick good old 0, 0, plug it in. 0 less than, anything times 0 is 0, plus 25. Is 0 less than 25? Yeah. So that means this is part of my answer. If that's part of my answer, I'm going to shade everything down there. Now, I'm only going to shade the triangle. Technically, it's everything back here. But it doesn't make sense to say that you're going to buy -5 of a thing. It doesn't make sense to say, I'll buy -20 of this thing, and that means I'll have to buy 112 of that thing. No, you can't buy negative of a thing. So I'm only going to shade just this part instead. There you go. I'm not letting you off the hook on those ones on the page before this, though. Okay, nice try. All of it through the stop sign. Okay, y'all seem to be good with it, but I wanted to do the word problem one together so we see monkeying with that slope again. Okay. Where's the stop sign at the end here? 20 something? Number 21? It is 1 through 21. So those last 4 problems that I just breezed past, you still got to do them. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
So I put it in differently, but like I want to know which one I did correctly because like there's been a couple where it's like 0, then I'm like no, you know.
Where are we plugging it in?
Well, like it was this
This
one.
guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So you plug 0 in here. You just get 0. Here, 4/5 times 0 minus 3.
So it'd be
-3.
Okay, so I don't put I don't put that down. I do this one, right?
If you're saying minus, you use minus. This says a -3. When you smash it all together like this just said 4/5 times 0 times -3.
Which would just be 0 all around. Okay, so that makes more sense.
Is it?
Do you want us to shade in
Yeah.
0, 0 on all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the difference between an inequality and an equation. Inequalities get shade. Y'all are teenagers. You should love this part. You could throw shade everywhere.